Go for it! Go for it, SYROBE! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We did it! Look at our health! Look at our health! Look at our health! Look at our health! Oh my god, look at our health! 5 HP in a dream! 5 HP in a dream! 5 HP in a dream! I've been breaking Elden Ring for 2 years, and we finally did it again. Oh my god. Ooh, my heart was racing there, dude. And again, people are probably gonna immediately be like, well, you're cheesing, you're cheesing. Guess what? They added a talisman specifically to do what I'm doing. Raises defense with higher equipment load. The more you fat roll, the better this talisman is. I'm pretty sure there are going to be diminishing returns. Then I took this because it pretty much increases damage, but I still have like almost 80 defense negation anyways, and some holy damage negation from the second phase, and then some more physical damage. The perfume, this came in clutch. I think this was the best one because it blocked the second phase attack. Like the whole second phase attack was just completely blocked by this. But yeah, this ain't cheese. This is god tier strats. I'm gonna screenshot that from my chat directly. Thank you guys so much. This is why they didn't invite me to the From Software events. This is why I wasn't invited, guys. I'm just gonna be honest, and I don't even care because I still am having a lot of fucking fun with it. Oh my god. Like, I was debating, dude. You could see. I paused. I gotta watch the replay. I need to explain my thought process. I paused because I swear to God, I thought I was gonna die. I was like, I'm gonna die. All right, what's up, guys? SYROBE from the future here, and I just wanted to break down and explain exactly what made my build work. I created a very intricate technique utilizing the Impenetrable Thorns spell that I showcased in my last video that a lot of people said was not gonna be a good spell. People said the cast time is too long, it's not worth using. But hopefully this video should change your mind on that because it's going to go from this spell sucks, this spell isn't worth using, to now this spell is cheese. If you use this spell, you're cheesing. And it's immediately going to flip on itself. So before that happens, here's what I use for spells. Just Impenetrable Thorns and Golden Vow. That is all I use for my spells. And as far as my physics flask goes, I use the Opaline Hard tier. This one increases all of my defensive stats, so it's super necessary to take in your physics flask, especially in this DLC. I think this is the most underrated physics tier, at least from the base game of Elden Ring, not including the new ones, because everybody I've heard has been complaining about getting one shot and complaining about taking so much damage. This is what you want. This is where it's at. And then this one, I had the Intelligence Not tier, but I'm using it for a very specific reason, and you'll see in a sec. The reason I used the Intelligence Not tier was pretty much for preference. If I went 25 Faith and 11 Int, and then drank the Intelligence tier, it would take me from 11 to 21, which is the attribute requirement for the staff. But I also could have done the exact opposite and kept the minimum faith, put Intelligence at 21, and then raise this up to 15, and drank the Faith Not tier instead to get 25 instead of 15. I think either way would have had the exact same outcome. And after timing it, I killed the final boss in around 30 seconds, and I'm very proud of the work. And also big shout out and thank you to my community who saw what I was cooking, believed in the vision. Thank you all so much, especially everyone that's been supporting me over the last 2 years. I have been making exclusively Elden Ring content. Since Elden Ring released in early 2022, I was a day one content creator for the game. I've been creating nothing but Elden Ring on my channel since then. And now that the DLC is out, I have a lot more planned and builds coming soon. So please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to stay up to date on this channel and see what other crazy shit I can figure out in the near future. Now let's take a look at my equipment, okay? We have the Maternal Staff plus 25. This is a very, very weird staff to use and is why my stat spread is a little bit uneven. So I have to explain everything very, very thoroughly. Okay, Maternal Staff at plus 25 gets an A tier arcane scaling. Much like the aromatic staff, it also has very, very high arcane scaling for a sorcery staff. They nerfed the bleed buildup, or status buildup I should say, while casting with the aromatic staff. So despite having S tier arcane, it actually has less bleed buildup whenever you use a thorn sorcery or anything that has statuses compared to the maternal staff, even though it has A, because they nerfed the status buildup specifically for the aromatic staff quite a while ago. So this is definitely the best staff to use for at least arcane as your main stat, because again, this spell does count as a thorn sorcery though, so the Staff of the Guilty buff to thorn sorceries would apply to the sorcery that I was using, which is the Impenetrable Thorns. That would help buff the spell that I was using. But mainly I was focused on my defense because of this new item. This is a brand new talisman and is what inspired this build, because Impenetrable Thorns is a really, really good sorcery. But the problem with it is that it has quite a long cast time and you can get interrupted pretty easily and get it canceled out altogether. But keep in mind, with this talisman, I could have just given myself all of my heaviest items in my inventory. As soon as you get overloaded, you don't get any more benefit from it after being overloaded. So it's just until that break point where you do become overloaded. I wanted to just be heavy rolling, so I still could fat roll. If you notice at the very beginning of the fight, I actually do time the fat roll perfectly, so I can dodge the radahn dash attack, because that does require me to dodge it, so I can get in almost a frame perfect input to dodge, and then cast the thorn sorcery right in front of him. That allows me to get in as many hits as possible with the thorn sorcery and almost immediately staggered radahn with just 3 uses of the spell. So on top of having this high defense with equipment load, I do have the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman from the base game. This is the newest talisman. I know it makes you take more damage, but the damage negation doesn't really matter that much. Not even 10% fully from it. I'm getting like less than 10% reduction because my defense is so high already. Pretty much isn't noticeable, especially when I use this flask, which I'll get into in a little bit, which gives me even more defensive stats. But the Golden Braid as well, this is basically like the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, but instead of being it for lightning or fire or magic or physical or pearlescent, so this is like the equivalent of a Great Shield, but for holy damage negation. I did that for the second phase because I was getting hit a lot by the holy damage. My holy damage resistance is a lot less than everything else. Again, if I remove this, I'd go down to 47. Out of all of my damage negations, holy damage would be one of the lowest ones. So this was very necessary for my build. And now this is the fun part. So again, this gives you the maximum amount of casting speed for sorcery and incantation. So I'm reaching the cap despite having no dexterity. Using this ironjar aromatic was key to this fight's success. A lot of people don't realize that when you're playing PvE, it doesn't matter what your poise value is because some bosses have attacks that will interrupt you regardless. I think 101 is the breakpoint for all PvP attacks that you can withstand. But even with 150 poise, there are still some attacks that will stagger you no matter what. So using this flask gives me up to 80% damage negation from physical attacks. And then using this, when radahn goes into his second phase, he always starts out with a really big light attack. That is just one instance of damage, so this uplifting aromatic will actually completely negate all of the damage that you would have taken from that one attack, and you have time enough to apply it right before it goes off. This is Miquella's Great Rune. You get this from killing the Shadow Tree avatar, which is located, I think, over here. A lot of people were wondering what the point of the Shadow Tree avatar was, but the reason you kill it is because when you kill it, you get this item. And the reason you want this item is because if you get grabbed by Miquella, he kisses you. Everyone has probably seen that attack. It actually does kiss you and then it releases you. But if he kisses you again, then it instantly kills you. So it's an instant kill move that takes 2 grabs for it to fully instantly kill you. If you read the item's description, it literally tells you this, that all it does is retains the power to resist charms. So I didn't use it, but from what people were telling me was that since I had it, if I used it after I get grabbed, it would remove the effects of the charm, so the next grab would not kill me. That's the reason you want to make sure you keep this in your inventory just in case, because if you do get grabbed, just use it right after and it'll cleanse the effects from it. And if you get grabbed again, you won't instantly die. This is what it looks like in the order of buff stacking that I did. Golden Vow lasts the longest, so I start with that first. Physics Flask is second. And then lastly, I do the Ironjar Aromatic. When everything is active, I get 83.988 damage negation. I have high 80 for all physical damage negation, and thanks to the talisman that I'm using, I have almost 70% holy damage negation. This makes me a tank and allows me to cast my sorcery as much as I can without being interrupted, and even if I do get hit, it allows me to take as little damage as possible. This spell is extremely good, but one caveat to it is you don't want to use it at max range. Notice how it can go really, really far if you let it. You don't want that. That makes the spell really, really useless. You need to make sure that whatever you're using the spell on is directly in front of you, which is why I did the build the way that I did it. Because in this build, you have to make sure that whatever you're trying to hit is directly in front of you, so all of the hitboxes explode into one giant, big, thorny tree. When this happens, that's what instantly procs bleed, and that's what does the most damage possible. Again, this damage does get increased by any thorn sorcery buffs like the Set of Alberich and the Thorn Staff. It looks like charge attacks are a little bit more effective when it comes to not only the damage but the bleed buildup. I'm pretty sure I noticed from my testing that if I did a light tap, it casted faster, but it wasn't as much damage, and sometimes bleed wouldn't proc on a light attack. But every time I did a charge attack, it would always activate the blood loss. Once again, here are all my items. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy I was able to limit test and break the ending of the DLC, and after timing it, I killed the final boss in around 30 seconds. I've been SYROBE, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.